So finally, under the command of Asad bin Furat, they conquered Sicily. At that time, before the invasion of Sicily, Muslim forces from Africa has already conquered some of the islands, Crete, Rhodes, all these Greek islands, they were under the Muslim rule. They reached the Italian town of Bari, half of the Italy, Naples, that coast was also under Muslim rule, but that was very temporary, maybe for about 10-15 years, where Romans forced them to go back to Sicily. So the Arab brought a lot of influences, food, architecture, irrigation to Sicily, their cuisine, and it was so much popular that when Normans, so the Vikings were the Normans, they accepted Christianity, and they ended the Muslim Arab rule for 250 years. First conquest of Norman was in year 1021, and that finished in 1091 when whole of the Sicily was under the Norman rule. But during this time, what happened in these 250 years? A turmoil, one after another. So this Abbasid government ended, Fatimid came, Fatimid controlled the African coast, and also the Abbasid governments were ended by the Fatimid. So like this, there were internal rebellion, there were internal fightings, Sicilian emirate become weaker and weaker. Similar happened as it happened in Cordoba, in the Caliphate of Cordoba, that there was internal fightings, they made into small taifas. So Sicily break down, that gave a space for Vikings to attack the Sicilian towns, and finally the Muslim rule in Sicily ended in 1091. So the first Norman king was named as Roger. Roger was trained and educated by an Arab scholar. He was a Norman Christian king but fluent in Arabic, and his rule lasted for about 20-30 years. And during this time, the Muslims living in Sicily were free to practice religion. They were living the same way as they were doing for last 250 years in the island. He was very supportive. He was having a very soft corner for the Muslims, and Muslims prosper and their businesses prosper, and the Normans also fell in love with the Arab architecture, food, cuisine, their way of living. So if you see in Sicily, many buildings to date are influenced by the Arab architecture. At that time, Normans made many different buildings, especially in the city of Palermo. The palace of Zika Palace. Then there is, I'm forgetting the name, some other, the cathedral of Palermo, which was built at the site of exactly at the mosque, is also very much influenced by the Arab architecture. Now, so after one important thing, Roger, he hired a geographer called Al-Idris and asked him to write a book. This was the first atlas of the world in the history of mankind by Al-Idris, commissioned by Roger, funded by Roger, and this is known as Kitabul Rujar, the book of World Atlas. Amazing history. After the death of Roger, the king, he was having soft corner for the Muslims, but asked them to leave Sicily, like it happened in Cordoba. He didn't enslave them, he didn't rape the women, he didn't kill any Muslims, but politely asked them to leave the Sicilian land and go somewhere else because of pressure from Pope, and that this land only now belongs to the Christians. So what happened? The Muslims, some of them fled to Africa, Tunisia area, but many were offered a place in a locality called Lucera, which is near, close to my apologies, close to Bari. So majority of Muslims, they migrated to Lucera on Italian mainland, where they lived for about 75 years. They built a beautiful central mosque there as well. They were welcome because Arabs knew how to do agriculture, farming, irrigation. So they took that skill to Lucera. In 1224, they were expelled from Lucera by the Pope from the Rome. A bishop was sent named Givoni. He killed many Muslims. Women were raped. Many Muslims were made slaves, and some were able to flee by boats to the surrounding islands to save their lives. So this is the same story as it happened in Granada. Very tragic, very painful. So the central mosque in Lucera, that was demolished, and they built a cathedral. There is an interesting book written by an author called Tariq Ali, The Sultan in Palermo, and that is about the massacre of Muslims in Lucera and how the mosque was demolished. If you can get hold of this book, it's a history about the Sicilian Muslims, the final chapter which ended in year 1300.